JoyMasher is one of the best indie developers out there. A team composed of, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Danilo Diaz and Thais Weiler. They've been releasing games since 2012. Their first game, which was Onikin, was a hack and slash side-scroller. Their second release, Odalis, is a dark action RPG with high exploration. What I believe to be their magnum opus, Blazing Chrome, is the counter-sequel that we deserved from Konami, but we never got. It's hard to call Blazing Chrome their magnum opus though, after playing Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. JoyMasher builds upon their foundation from their latest release, such is the case with Moonrider. Vengeful Guardian Moonrider is a side-scrolling action platformer challenging the golden age of classic 16-bit action games and a refined, full-throttle quest for revenge. Vengeful Guardian Moonrider's design holds the best classic action game elements and the laser-precise sights of its starring ninja, keeping combat snappy, responsive, and challenging. The game's gorgeously desolated world expertly recreates the 16-bit era through intricate pixel art and crunchy audio, building a striking, compact gauntlet across 8 daily stages. The pixel art is amazing and shows the great talent of JoyMasher. It recreates the 16-bit era graphics, specifically the Sega Genesis or Master Drive if you're European. It's not limited to what the Sega Genesis could do, but uses it as an inspiration and builds off of it for modern audiences. The music also has that chunky, crunchy sound the Genesis is known for, but with a little bit of increased modern sound quality. Moonrider also has a more Asian feel to it compared to other JoyMasher games, and that's helped by the musical instruments used. We got the shakuhachi, sanshin, and the taiko drums. At least I assume these are some of the instruments used for this banger soundtrack. The soundtrack itself is a high intensity to help keep the pace of the game. Moonrider's gameplay is reminiscent of Strider and Shinobi with a little bit of dash of Mega Man Zero. At the start of the game, players have to go through an intro stage, but after that, then the player can pick which stage to tackle, a la Mega Man. Each stage has a unique theme and a little gimmick to follow. One of them even has you in a super hang-on like stage. And for those who aren't as crusty as me, it's a cool ass bike stage where you shoot bad boys and flying robot heads. Each stage has a boss, aka Guardian, who has abilities to match their sick ass names. Flamestalker, use your imagination here, uses fire. Photon Drifter uses high speed attacks and energy blasts to keep you at bay. Dark Chaser does some forbidden art techniques and summons some weird ass tentacles. Defeating these guardians grants Moonrider a new ability to use. Some are better than others, but that's just how things go when you have this mechanic in place. If you played Mega Man, then you know some weapons are better than others. This game even has its own crappy shield weapon. The difficulty of the game is right in the sweet spot. Now, bear in mind, I play a lot of difficult games. What's easy or normal to me might be hard for you. You can be reckless here and still complete the whole game. The controls are extremely tight and any death I had felt fair. Most deaths I received were from me being too careless. Moonrider can sprint, wall jump, and if you find the right power up, double jump. All these controls blend well to create the ultimate cyborg ninja. The difficulty is helped by the generous health and energy pickups. They're given after a tough encounter or before a boss fight. Checkpoints are kind, and if you get a game over in the latter section of a level, then you start from the halfway point of the stage. Moonrider is meant to be played multiple times and optimized. It's a speedrunner's game. The first run is meant to familiarize the player with the mechanics, spawns, and item locations. Oh yeah, I should mention that there are hidden items that can enhance Moonrider. They can range from regenerating health or energy, to changing the game to a one-hit only mechanic, which is recommended for only the most extreme and professional of players. My favorite one is the Sword Extender. Nothing like damaging baddies from a safe distance and they can't do nothing about it. The story is kind of an interesting topic, especially when you take into account where JoyMasher is located. JoyMasher is a Brazilian-based indie company, and at the time of this review, which is 1/10/2023, Brazil is having their own version of the January 6th attacks. I'm not here to get political, but here's the story of Moonrider. Humanity finds an unlikely hero in Vengeful Guardian Moonrider's oppressed world. Authoritarians have built super soldiers as weapons of war, but their creators have sealed their fate by bringing the warrior known as Moonrider online. Conceived as a tool to uphold a totalitarian state, the Moonrider has rejected its intended purpose, instead choosing a relentless battle for vengeance against its creators and fellow super soldiers. The interesting part is the totalitarian government, the rebels, and it questions how far should political power go before check and balances kick in. The citizens in the world of Moonrider are hungry and live in fear of a government employed by military officials who abuse their power, pushing their own agendas and interests onto the population without the population's say. Those who rebel are fixed to fit the mold, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to tell you that I know about Brazilian politics, because I don't, but it's kind of interesting that a Brazilian indie studio releases a game with this story when their government is hitting peak political distress. JoyMasher themselves said, "We tried to portray some of our collective struggles and fears of the past 3 years in game, and we hope it is as cathartic of an experience for you playing it as it was for us making it. Since it was such a personal and current experience, we also tried to add a positive outlook. That's not the first time we did that. Blazing Chrome also has a hopeful message at the end. But since so much of Moonrider was mirrored on real world and events and people, it felt like a small act of rebellion to do so. To hope, after all, is the most defiant act one can commit. We know it doesn't feel like a victory at the moment since the war isn't over yet, but we won so many battles. We will keep on fighting, and we're happy to do so." Moonrider is another excellent game from JoyMasher. The tight controls of the game, beautiful pixel art, and variety of ways to approach levels welcome beginners and veterans of retro games and hack and slash platformers. My first run of the game took me about 2 hours, and that's with 100% completion. Sequential runs were around 1 hour. If you're a retro lover, then you are missing out by not picking this up. Treat yourself and enjoy some high octane slashing. You can't go wrong with this bad boy. There's bound for you to something to like out of this. Moonrider is being released on PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Amazon Luna in select territories. I have no idea what that is, but that's in here for $17.99 US. Thank you to Arcade Crew for the review key. I'm extremely grateful, and this review wouldn't have happened without you. Thank you again, homies, for sticking to the end. If you've enjoyed this review, please consider dropping a like and subscribing for indie and retro content. Always make sure to come back for more, and make sure to check out my other Vengeful Guardian Moonrider videos. And have a super day, my homies. Peace.